What's up everyone? In this video I'm going to give you a quick tip on what to do if your bottom bracket starts to creak and cry and make noises like your bike's speaking to you. And I tell you what, it actually is. So first things first, what even is the bottom bracket? Well, bottom bracket is, in this case, threaded into the frame and has a spindle going down the middle which rests on bearings. Now these bearings will actually wear down to the point to sometimes break. First, you want to take these out. After you've taken both sides of the bolts out of the bottom bracket assembly, you can go ahead and remove the cranks. Now, the best is to have a crank puller to actually do it right without kind of breaking your bike, but I don't have one, so I just use a rag and a hammer and pretty much hit them as high up here as I possibly can, and pretty much just hope for the best and pray to the trials gods that I don't actually break something. If you look inside here, the bearings are right around here, and what it'll look like for you, what it's supposed to look like, is sealed bearings. If your bike is somewhat decent, it should have sealed bearings on it, so you can't actually see the balls in there, so they don't fall out and don't get wet and rusty, and they don't absorb any sort of things that come in contact with it. You know, when you're sleeping with your bike, you don't want any of that stuff to get on it either. And pretty much just take a gander right inside there, and you can pretty much tell if one of the balls are broken and there's shards of balls everywhere. You know it's time for some new bearings. Alright, we down here. So if you've taken out your bearings and you found that they're completely destroyed, the balls are pretty much in pieces inside the ring, what you can do is, these bearings aren't bike specific. They're just bearings, bearings are bearings, and there's companies online that sell just bearings for good prices. So once you have the bearing, it's going to say a number on it. And I think this number was about like 9100, or it's something like that. That's probably not the number, I don't really remember. And go online, type it in with the number and bearing, and it'll pop up. And with a good price next to it, order it up, make sure you get 2, and pop those babies in, and you're good to go. So upon replacing this bottom bracket, I actually put brand new bearings in it because my old bearings were completely blown out, and I found that the first 2 rides were perfect, but then on probably the 4th or 5th ride, my bike started creaking like crazy again. And I was probably right about to get the chainsaw and cut this baby in half and eat her for dinner. But I decided to look into it and try to find out what the problem was. So, problem turns out that my bolts on the sides actually were loose, because when I tightened it initially, I tightened it a good amount, but the bolts got really loose just after a few rides. So what I learned is, when you replace the bearings in your bottom bracket, make sure to periodically check and re-tighten them, probably every ride once you replace them.
This hit is Givenchy, $900 jeans, homie. All these girls be raunchy, like let me see your peen, homie. She trying to cause a scene, but I'm in Paris with my team, walking slow like I'm on lean. Damn, my nigga jewelry looks so clean.